ready, I'm going to shoot it over to you. I'll be posting it also. You can reach me at the Jack Bauer. You can reach me at area code 559, area code 291-6188. That's 291-6188. Or feel free to email me at Bauer, B-O-W-E-R, secret, S-E-C-R-E-T, Bauer Secret, all one word, BauerSecret at gmail.com. If you want to hook up with me on Skype, and I got a lot of people on Skype with me now, you can find me under my pen name, which is Michael.W.Golden, and I usually pick up 2 or 3 every show. Thank you guys for being there and keeping your questions coming. Anyway, DK, you're doing some good stuff tonight, my friend. Thank you for being there, pounding it in there. DK's always good for a question or two. So Clay, what's your future plans? Where are we going?
Well, I am looking for people to work with. The future plans that I have are to do one Liberty Village somewhere. I've got 130 acres offered to me in Oklahoma. I've got 20 or 40 acres in Tennessee. I've got 40 acres that has already got the cabins. Now what we're proposing here is smaller cabins. Why do you need a 2,000 square foot home? If you move into a farm or a ranch area, 5 acres, develop that, have your own food, have your own energy, and open to the public. I'm not looking for little camps. I'm looking for Motel 6 in the country, rural, something charming. We've got low-cost structures. We've got teepees available. We've got yurts available. We've got tornado-proof monolithic homes that we put you right in touch with the manufacturers. You can have these. You can buy these. They'll ship them to you. The teepees you can roll up. They'll ship them to you with the. They'll ship the poles to you. You can put them up. We got pictures of little enclaves like that. Up with the northern lights and the teepees glowing bright in the snow. There's also adobe. What's that?
I'm going to throw you a rough picture, kind of out of the blue, but not really. Did you follow? I know you're down that neck of the woods. Did you follow the shooting near Arizona with the Gabby or whatever the governor's name was down there? Were you aware of any of that?
Yeah, the ABC News called me within the hour after it occurred.
One of our guests here, Guest 51, wanted to know if that was also a false flag, and my answer to that is absolutely it's a false flag. The judge was the real target.
That's true.
The judge was the real target, the one that killed, because he was getting ready. That particular judge, one of the few maybe honest ones out there, was one of the few that was getting ready to start an investigation on Bam Bam. And they could not possibly have that, even though his world was unraveling now. But the judge was absolutely the target, and they got him. So that's my opinion, of course.
Yeah, they got Judge. He was pro-patriot. He was one of the good guys.
Yep. And Sheriff Mack, let me in on that. Sheriff Mack had done it. He was in Sheriff Mack's book. And Sheriff Mack kind of got on me because I typically hate 99% of the judges out there. And he says, well, this particular one was a good guy. He was getting ready to open the investigation, and that's why they killed him. Gifford just happened to be a bonus point, I guess. So
now, what we're about to come up on here. This country is in a drought situation, so crops are going to they're going to take out the bigger farms first. But if you're farming in your backyard, the whole concept for Liberty Village, again, folks, this ain't our idea for me to make a lot of money. It's a way for you to make money in your neighborhood, protect yourself, maybe provide some shelter for some vets. We've got, we're taking applications right now. You send me clay@freeamerican.com and send me an application. Tell me what you can contribute to a community and what you're looking for. You know, in a lot of these states, I intend to make liberty villages basically into hemp farms. You know, I mean, if you can grow a little bit of marijuana in 16 states, which is now legal to do, you could also probably plant a few acres of hemp there and not get hassled too much. If we restored the hemp crop, that was a $1 billion crop back in the 30s. You know, what would it be today? That's a way to restore our farms, our ranches, and our whole economy. It worked in 16 states, and most of Americans want to go. And the patriots, here's your patriot movement again. Your so-called Christians out there. Oh, we should throw people in jail for smoking marijuana. Then congratulations, you're as much a police state as a communist.
You know, Clay, they've proven, and it continues to be proven daily, that hemp, marijuana, pot, dope, all the above could absolutely turn this country around financially, spiritually, economically, medicinally. It is 100% pure medicine done the right way. It's the only thing out there that can absolutely cure dang near every ailment known to man, including cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be. You can. In fact, Henry Ford built an entire car out of hemp, and it was stronger than steel. Running it on hemp, from the fuel made from hemp, it could turn this country around. But there's no profitability in it for the stinking government because and the drug manufacturers because it is an herb, it's a natural thing, and they can't make a buck at it. So you think they're going to oppose it because it can heal people? Of course they're going to oppose it.
Well, you know, I approached this problem 40 years ago while I was locked up in a prison in Texas for marijuana. There were guys in prison with me that were doing 99 years for a joint. And while I was in there, I got some special privileges. I got a special privilege. I wrote the director of the prison system and got a typewriter. And I wrote 2 books, basically. Started 2 books. Had to spend 40 years researching both of them. They'll be out this year. And folks, I've also got a series of fiction books that are based on John D. MacDonald's Trevor McGee series. Mine are called Trevor Cameron, Terrorist Hunter. It used to be called Trevor McGee, but got into a little pissing match with the attorneys for John D. MacDonald's son, Maynard, and changed the name. Didn't have to change a word. The attorneys liked it. They said, oh, you write just like John D. MacDonald. I've made the decision because most of the American people out there, Jack, can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth about what's going on. I'm not going to do any more magazines. I'm not going to do any more. I'll continue to do my radio show because I enjoy doing these. But I'm not doing any magazines anymore. I'm not competing with nobody. I'm writing fiction books. I'm writing science fiction books. I'm finishing the book I started 40 years ago about a time in the future when marijuana was legal, when cocaine was legal, when there were no laws against victimless crimes. You could buy anything you want, do anything you want, as long as you didn't do it in public, as long as you obeyed certain rules of civilization. And in this future segment, the United States divided. It exercised the 10th Amendment. The states exercised the 10th Amendment, and victimless crimes were abolished in 46 states, and they kept the same laws in 4 states that they have today in most of the states. And the character, my hero in this book, was named Solomon. It'll be called the Solomon series. And it's about a man that shows up, takes over movie studio, makes some real good movies, legalizes hemp, and half the world thinks he's the Messiah, half the world thinks he's the Antichrist. And it ought to be more controversial than the Da Vinci Code by the time I get through with it. That's what I'm working on this year.
Hey, we've gone through the first hour already. I'm going to put the word out. Anybody wants to ask Clay any questions? Hey, welcome, Shrink-Rat. Shrink-Rat's one of my regulars, and I've got him unmuted. Shrink, say hello to Clay, Shrink. Hello, Clay.
Hello, Shrink.
Clay, this guy is wonderful. He's a very, very nice person, and has a lot of good inside info. In my opinion, he's one of the good guys. Yeah, one of the good guys. There you go. I'm ready to mute myself while I'm going right up to feed my dog, so I'll get off mute when I get that down. Thank you, Shrink. And anybody has any questions, raise your hand, and I'll be glad to unmute you. You ready for some questions, Clay?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see what we got on here. Man, we got all kinds of people on here. I'm not sure why. Pennsylvania, I think that's Steve. Steve, is you in Pennsylvania? I think that's Steve. He usually has some good comments and questions. I just unmuted you in Pennsylvania. Is it you, Steve? Pennsylvania? Maybe it wasn't. I got Maryland in here. Yeah, that might be.
I'll be glad to answer any questions for anybody. You know, the whole Liberty Village thing. I'm not looking to, to get rich off this. I just think that's the way we need to live. That's the way we need to kind of rethink this whole neighborhood. I mean, I lived in a neighborhood in Miami for 8 years and never knew who was on my block.
Right. Yeah, that's what I think that's a big part of the problem here in America. Is, you don't know who your neighbors are anymore. One of my exes moved back to, gosh, 10 years ago, back to Carolina, I don't know, Indiana. A little small town. Back my sister lived in Georgia, and it was more like what we were brought up to believe America was. It was small communities. Everybody knew their neighbors. You need to cut. You could go to your next door neighbors and they kind of, they would shoot you with a gun as you were coming. Didn't lock their doors. It was a really nice place to be around. Out here in this toilet we call California, why anybody would want to come to the state and live is beyond me. I mean, it's the people out here suck for the most part. The government absolutely sucks, as corrupt as they can come. It's a high-priced place to live. You got the governments are all trash. The cops are all. If you're not part of the good old boy society, you're not in the clique, you're not in the group. They're going to make you a target. It's just a nasty place to live. It's hotter than hell in the summer. It's cold as the dickens in the winter. But for some reason, us that are born here can't get away from this damn place. It's worse than an addiction. So, like I say, Clay, if you're thinking about it at all, man, think again, because it sucks. And I know like a couple of my listeners here, I was in Hermit John. No, these guys confirm what I'm saying. I know if they have the means out, they get the hell out the same way if it's the only thing comes through, you can color my side behind, gone. I'm out of this country, out of this state. Costa Rica, Argentina, here I come. My good friend, well, you know him, Clay, David Von Christ.
Yeah, he went to Argentina, didn't he?
In plain sight, 911. He finally said, screw it all. He left. He's in Argentina. Just recently got married to a little cutie down there. He's become a teacher instead of no longer charging and heading up the Patriot movement. I don't blame him. God bless him for doing it.
I don't blame him either.
And when he did, it was a good time. So.
I don't blame him either. I play his music a lot on my shows and before my shows. In the mornings. We also do blog TV, and you can get to that just by looking up Free American. I'm also on Facebook, Free American on Facebook. And folks, if we don't work together, they're going to isolate. Their whole tactic is divide and conquer, and they also. They want you to fight with you. They want the Christians to fight the Muslims. They want the hippies to fight the cowboys. And come on, to me that's the biggest thing. Why isn't the Tea Party movement? So why aren't these people turning around? There's 40 million of us that have smoked marijuana at one time in our life or another. It cures cancer. It was $1 billion crop, and why would the Christians and the patriots want to put us down or put us in jail for doing that? You know,
there's a really good YouTube on, if you do marijuana cures cancer, you'll find it in that lineup. And this good-looking young guy, she's 25, 29. She had some type of a fibrous growth in her uterus, so she was sterile, she couldn't have kids, she had broke her back in 3 places. She had every kind of malady you could have on the poor woman, and she doesn't smoke pot. She's got she juices it down with a wheatgrass juicer, and she pulls a plant a day and she plants a plant a day, and she juices the juice out of each plant, and then mixes it all day long and drinks it in her fruit juices. Now, THC is the active ingredient, the one that causes the hallucinogenic effects, but THC doesn't do that. THCA does, and it only becomes THCA when it's heated. So what she's drinking has cured her. She now has 3 children. Her back is completely healed. It's atrocious what we have allowed, which we could absolutely have a utopia in this country. Our forefathers wrote the document for it. It was there. We could all be living, eating, breathing, energy-free and everything else. But we've allowed these SOBs, because we trusted them, to take that utopia away from us. And I don't know if we can get it back. I know we can't without bloodshed, and I fear for it. I see it coming. I'm not advocating it, but it is well on its way, in my opinion.
Well, that's why I'm writing science fiction now, because that's exactly what I see coming. And I know that it could be, you know, Jack Harry used to tell me, we'd be sitting back smoking a joint together, he'd say, you know, this could save the world, this could save the world. You know, hemp could save the world. And it's true. It's true. And why, let me just ask you this, maybe you can explain it, or maybe I'm just maybe I got a little bit of brain damage, maybe I'm a little retarded here. Tell me why they can grow pot in Mexico and China and Russia and Canada, and they can't grow it here? Why is that?
Yeah, you know what, Clay? I got another one of my buddies is on. He's texting us. It's Matt from Michigan. Matt, you got to call him, come on the line. I love having you on, because this guy's another one of the real smart guys in the law department, much smarter than myself, and does some great work. And he has a show that they also do. But I hope he calls in. I'll bring him right up. He's texting in here. He's never trusted them. I understand. I don't trust the bastards as far as I can throw them or see them, and I can't do very much of either one. So. Again, it's all about control. It's all about control. And if you think the food that you're eating today is nourishing your body, dream on, friends. I want some of whatever you're taking, because I want to have that happy pill in my back pocket too. It ain't happening. They've taken all the good nutrients out of the crap that they're force feeding us at the grocery store that we're forced to eat. You do get a little bit, but not much. And again, pot, marijuana, is one of the few that seems to be able to survive and cure and heal just about anything out there. So we can't have that. I mean, they need to kill us off quicker than we are already, and that's just the way it is. So,
well, they are killing us off, and this is what people don't understand. More people die of prescription drugs than all of the cocaine and heroin, methamphetamine users out there. More people. And so the drugs they're feeding you, not only do they have a 200,000% markup on them, but they kill you. The statins kill you. The pain pills kill you. I buried too many people over that shit. Nobody over pot.
You know what, Clay? I've got a daughter. She just turned 18, and my my ex-wife, let me get that correct. My ex-wife, the woman from hell, no, the ex-wife, we'll just go with that. She had my poor little girl who was 4 months premature when she was born, had suffered a little brain damage because of my ex-wife's drug use and abuse. She liked to do the go fast stuff, and she was premature. Well, because the courts absolutely hate me so much, and the government hates me so much because of my stance against hating them so much and putting it on the air, they allowed her to have full custody. Well, it wasn't until she got done about 85 pounds, lost her home owned her car and everything else, but I got my children from her drug use and abuse. And one of the first things I did was I took my daughter off of the crap they had her on for ADHD crap, which it totally was. I mean, you name it, they had her on it. And I took her off of it, and you know what I found was, when I took her off the 10 to 15 Mountain Dews a day, suddenly she calmed down and could focus and concentrate. Her grades went up. She became an outstanding student, and they still tried to go after me for having the nerve to take her off the pharmaceuticals when the doctor said it was the best thing that could ever happen. So we have just absolutely let this happen, and you chicken shit judges and cops, you better have your bags packed and ready for the run for the hills, because we are getting fed up, and there is a movement in place. And if you can't see it, you got your blinders on, because what's happening right now across the country, around the world, we're fed up with feeding your sorry ass and having you take advantage of us. And your day is coming, and it's very, very soon, in my opinion.
I would like to believe everything that's happening there, and there's a lot that's happening that you're not being told.
Yep.
It's happening now, and they're going to pay. They're going to be taken off. I think that the end of the world predicted by by the Mayans, I think the end of the world in 2012 is really the end of the world of the banksters. It's going to require two things, folks. Now, the whole concept for Liberty Village: grow your own food, generate your own energy. You could do that in one square block over in LA, over in Chicago. You could do it in a square block of those old abandoned houses in Detroit, and turn some of these apartment buildings into indoor farms and self-productive units, and create your. We're going to be sponsored. Liberty Villages are going to be sponsored by GEET. Paul Pantone is working with us, and each village will have a dealer in GEET to double your gas mileage. We can only increase it by 50%, folks. You know, if we do tune it anymore, then it's against the law, and that's why you don't see any magnetic generators in garages in America, because if you plugged it into the socket and started running up a $400 or $500 check on from your electric company, the feds would be knocking on your door, because that's illegal too. It's a perpetual motion machine, and that's not good for our gas-based economy. That's what's really happening here. And so, folks, the more you can get more independent, more self-sufficient, you don't care if the power lines fall down in the next county. If the twister takes out the power lines between you and the power station, you still can survive if you set it up. Now, we've got solar units that you can buy and expand as much as you want. They're featured up on the site. All you gotta do is call me. We got teepees, yurts. We got possibly monolithic dome houses. We got some people that are building those. We got people that are building half-size houses. They call them tiny Texas houses. You can get a tiny Texas house, put it on 1 acre in a village in just outside of San Antonio. This is the only answers that I can come up with that are going to be that are feasible. You can do it in your own block. Knock on other people's doors. They want to rule you by consensus. They want you to rule you by consensus. If you keep your mouth shut, then they assume that you agree with everything they're doing.
Yep. A lot of chat here on John is one of my buddies and one of my regular listeners. Going back to old school, so many people, myself included, long for the good old days. And heard that John here's got a little Vega, Chevy Vega, with about a 500 horsepower engine in it. And the place out here in California, talk about Renaissance, called the Eagle Field, Old Miami Field. He takes the Vega out there, and they don't even use the tree there to start the cars. They do the arm drops, and it's phenomenal. So everybody I see, where I'm going with this, to wrap this around into something that makes sense, is what your idea of this, the villages is a great idea. People are looking for that kindle spirit of, unity, a family type of environment, family spirit. I got a very dear friend of mine out here that has I'll give him a plug here, has an automotive repair shop called, his name is, pardon me, he's got a great mechanic shop out here, and he does, everybody in his shop, once a week, he shuts his shop, or he doesn't shut it down, but during lunch, he has a little barbecue. It's a very family-oriented environment. And I've known of this guy for years. It's called Lions Automotive here, right out of Clovis, right here in California. And the guy does, I guess what he's done that I appreciate is he appreciates and respects, he holds true the idea of being proud of your workmanship. And Larry Lyon, God bless him, man, he's just a really, really nice person. And he's got one of those hearts for God, for lack of a better term, that he has to, if he's driven, it's almost an addiction for him, he has to help other people to the point where he hurts himself. And that's a quality that's very hard to find anymore. Yet Larry Lyon does it, and when his work is completed, he knows he can count on it being the right way. And one of the things that he tells his new people when they come in is, if you're coming here to get a paycheck, you're at the wrong place. You don't want to work here. If you're coming here because you're proud of your work and you're willing to show it off, you're coming to the right place. And it's like a family. It's like everybody in that shop is like a family. And he's done a very good job of finding people of like mind that come in there. It's like they're driven to him. Him and I went to a men's Christian breakfast this morning and had good fellowship. It was great, and it's amazing. He donates a lot of his time down here to what's called Fresno Rescue Mission, to the people that have had problems or living on the streets, and he's just driven. I mean, it's amazing to find somebody like that still out there. But Larry Lyon, God bless him for being there, and he's got me going down to the rescue mission. People are afraid to go down to that part of town because of the vandalism and everything. You know what? Those guys are sitting there meet once a week, every Tuesday afternoon and evening, and break bread with those fellows in there, and they've run across some hard times, and they know Larry is, hey Larry, it's amazing. But he's driven, and that's what we're looking for. And that's what I think your villages are getting around the vineyard. I think that's what it has to offer. Am I right or wrong?
Well, no, it's right. First of all, there's a couple of things that I want to see happening with the village. I don't know if I'm going to make it a requirement, but I'm certainly going to make it a suggestion that every village that's set up incorporate at least one structure, and a teepee you can get for probably under $5,000. One structure that'll house at least 6 veterans. I think it is a national tragedy that our veterans are being shipped off to VA hospitals or committing suicide, and we've got thousands homeless. I don't think that's right, and I want to provide a home for them, because anytime a communist revolution happens, they go after the farmers first, and they go in and kill the farmers and their families. This has happened in South Africa, it's happened in Russia, it's happened in the Ukraine, it's happened everywhere. Everywhere they've taken it over, especially probably in China. This is what they do. They don't, plank number 9 on the Communist Manifesto is corporate farms. Now, if you want to beat a communist government, you have to get back to the individual farms, but you also have to be able to protect it. And that's why I started the militias. It wasn't to get rich, folks. It was to protect you. I would never allow something like that to happen again and not do anything. Well, I am still trying to live up to that oath that I made here. I have figured a way to protect you, and it's got 10,000 years of history, folks. I ask myself, Jack, how do you live? How did we live 100 years ago? How did we live 500 years ago? How did we live 2,000 years ago? How did we live? And the answer is the farm, the village, the people working together. And folks, that don't want you to work together. They want you to be suspicious of me. They want to call names. And by the way, for you people, I don't believe Paul Pantone. I don't believe it. Well, I've known Paul Pantone and Geet since I drove him around in California, up in Placerville area, with this little 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton that still runs, and we go up to a gas station and ask him if he had some waste